Thank you for tuning in to another great video by Destiny. Over the years, Margaret Lomas has answered hundreds of viewer questions about many aspects of property investing. Here's one of them.
Hi Margaret, I'm an Australian permanent resident and recently relocated to Australia from Singapore. I intend to buy a property here to settle in with my son, who is studying in an Australian university. My spouse and 2 other daughters are staying behind in Singapore in our family home, which I own. I intend to purchase a property in Australia for me and my son to live in. Can I claim this property in Australia as my principal place of residence, or do I have to dispose of my family home in Singapore before I can do so? Do I have to declare my overseas assets, including the family home in Singapore, in my tax submission to Australia? Ken, I wanted to be really sure of this one, so I've had a chat with my property success tax expert, Ian Rodriguez, just to make sure that I got it right. As you might already know, an Australian taxpayer can only claim the main residence exemption on one property. Now, this seems to apply regardless of where that property is in the world. Whether or not your Australian property can be classed as a family home will depend upon whether it is a home. This could be demonstrated by the following: occupying the property, having your personal belongings in this property, connecting services such as telephone, electricity and gas to the property, and having your mail delivered to this property. There's no requirement for the family home in Singapore to be sold. However, if you are an Australian tax resident, all assets which you own worldwide are deemed to have been acquired at market value at this time. If you sell the Singapore property while you are an Australian tax resident, you will be liable for capital gains tax in Australia on its capital gain. The capital gain is calculated by reducing the sale proceeds by the market value of the asset at the time you became an Australian tax resident. Now, assuming that you are occupying the Singapore property as your main residence prior to coming to Australia, a portion of this capital gain will be exempt. The exempt portion is calculated by dividing the days in the ownership period that the Singapore property was your main residence by the total days that you owned the Singapore property. In Australia, Australian tax residents are required to disclose if they have an interest in assets located outside Australia with a total value of more than $50,000. However, you aren't required to report the actual value of the assets. Just like a resident who owns 2 properties within Australia, only 1 property at a time can be the main residence exemption. For you, the issue will only become relevant if you were to sell the Singapore home while you are a resident taxpayer in Australia. As with all tax questions, it really is important that you consult your local accountant for more guidance on matters like this one.
We hope you've learned something from watching this video. If you'd like to ramp up your own property investing, give us a call at Destiny now. You can join in on our fabulous essential property education courses held all over Australia and learn everything there is to know about property investing. Call now on 1300 693 378 or visit our website destiny.com.au. To watch more great video, go to destinylive.com.au.